Amy's journey began in Wyoming, where she felt suffocated by a life dictated by her overbearing father, Andrew. Forced to follow his rigid expectations, even in matters of study and career, she longed for a life of her own making. While her father envisioned a future in business for her, Amy's heart was set on caring for stray animals, a passion that had blossomed since childhood. Tired of being controlled and living out dreams that were not her own, Amy made a brave decision. She would leave home and pursue her freedom in Los Angeles. With little more than her allowance and a burning desire for independence, Amy embarked on a journey to Los Angeles. Along the way, she found solace in the company of Kevin, a compassionate friend who had long helped her care for the stray dogs and cats she loved. Their farewell was bittersweet. Amid tearful goodbyes to the animals she had nurtured, Amy boarded a bus to the sprawling, chaotic city of Los Angeles, determined to reinvent herself away from the suffocating confines of Wyoming. Arriving in downtown Los Angeles, Amy was immediately overwhelmed by the city's towering buildings, relentless noise, and bustling crowds. Proudly donning her tribal attire, a symbol of her Native American heritage from Wyoming, she stood out in a city where conformity was prized. Despite the curious stares and whispered judgments of passers-by, Amy clung to her identity and confidence. Her search for a place to call home led her to a modest apartment in a small neighborhood. There, she met Mrs. Camila, a kind yet straightforward landlady who, despite initially mistaking Amy for someone with no future, eventually helped her secure a small, affordable room. Shortly after settling into her new apartment, Amy encountered Alyssa, a friendly woman who would become one of her most reliable allies. Alyssa not only welcomed her into the community, but also guided her in navigating the challenges of life in Los Angeles. Despite the city's reputation for harshness, Alyssa's warmth reminded Amy that kindness could still be found. However, the realities of her new life soon began to test her resilience. Determined to support herself independently, Amy plunged into the job market. Although she held a college degree, she faced rejection after rejection. Her unconventional looks and humble background seemed to work against her in a city where beauty and appearance were highly valued. Desperate for a source of income, she accepted a position as a janitor at a local mall, a job far removed from her academic qualifications, but one that promised stability. At the mall, Amy encountered both camaraderie and cruelty. On one hand, her diligent work ethic and humble demeanor earned her the respect of many colleagues. On the other, she soon became the target of subtle, venomous bullying from coworkers such as Julie and Joseph. Julie, in particular, took every opportunity to mock Amy's appearance and background, spreading malicious rumors and even resorting to physical harassment. During one incident in the women's restroom, Julie's relentless verbal abuse and aggressive actions escalated to the point where Amy, desperate to defend herself, bit Julie's hand in self-defense. Security intervened, and the confrontation was eventually brought before Mr. Alfred, the then supervisor, who admonished the bullies and defended Amy. Though his support offered a brief respite, it also foreshadowed the harsher challenges that lay ahead. Not long after, a change in management brought a new supervisor, Clarice, who happened to be Julie's niece. Unlike Mr. Alfred's measured fairness, Clarice ruled with an iron fist. She exploited her authority, assigning Amy tasks far beyond her janitorial duties, such as setting up and organizing her office. One long night, Amy toiled over boxes and furniture in Clarice's glass-walled office until exhaustion claimed her. When she finally fell asleep, she was discovered in a disheveled state the next morning by the very managers who later used her condition as evidence of negligence. Clarice's demands grew increasingly unreasonable, and her disdain for Amy was palpable. The situation worsened when Clarice falsely accused Amy of stealing a cherished vase, a sentimental gift from Clarice's grandfather, which Amy had accidentally broken while trying to clean up. In a fit of rage, Clarice slapped Amy in front of colleagues, further shaming her. Julie and Joseph, ever eager to align with their supervisor's cruelty, stalked Amy and hurled further insults, vowing to do everything in their power to see her expelled from the mall. Amidst this maelstrom of abuse, Robert, a man with kind eyes who worked closely with Clarice, attempted to comfort Amy, though his efforts were undermined by the prevailing hostility. Despite the turmoil at work, Amy's innate kindness shone through. One afternoon, she noticed an elderly woman, Mrs. Miranda, struggling to buy a meal at the mall's cafeteria. Determined to help, Amy went out of her way to assist her, even spending part of her meager wages on new clothes for the downtrodden woman. Her selfless act did not go unnoticed. Mr. Ramirez, the head manager, quietly observed her compassion. Yet, in the eyes of the new management, Amy's empathy was a liability. At a company conference, Clarice launched into a tirade against Amy for allowing a filthy person into the mall, blaming her for the loss of a VIP customer. The harsh reprimand culminated in Amy's dismissal, leaving her devastated and questioning whether she could survive in a world that relentlessly judged her by her appearance. Heartbroken and in tears outside the conference room, Amy was consoled by Mr. Ramirez. In a quiet moment of compassion, he revealed a truth that would upend everything she had known. The mall, where she had suffered so much abuse, was actually owned by her family. Mr. Ramirez explained that Amy's mother, Helen, and her father, Andrew, were part of a wealthy business family, and that the mall was one of their enterprises, managed temporarily by him until Amy was ready to take her place. Shocked and disbelieving, Amy soon found herself face-to-face with her parents, who had been searching for her with mounting concern. In a dramatic confrontation, Andrew and Helen marched into the meeting where Clarice and the other managers had gathered. With righteous indignation, Andrew seized the microphone and declared that no one had the right to mistreat his daughter. Helen reinforced his words by condemning the cruelty and narrow-mindedness that had plagued Amy's experience. The revelation stunned everyone in the room, managers, bullies, and even Clarice, who suddenly found themselves powerless in the face of the truth. In the days that followed, the tide of Amy's misfortune turned. Her parents, deeply remorseful for never having truly understood her desire for independence, embraced her decision to forge her own path. They commended her for standing up against abuse and pledged their unwavering support as she embarked on a new chapter. Realizing that her struggles had forged a strength and resolve within her, Amy decided to pursue a career in business. With her newfound identity as the heir to the family mall, she envisioned a future where she could blend her passion for helping others with sound business acumen. Amy set to work learning every facet of business management. Her goal was not only to run the mall but also to use her resources to create a better community. Within a year, her dreams began to materialize. She inherited the mall and transformed it into a hub of compassion and opportunity. Amy established a shelter for stray cats and dogs, a safe haven where Kevin, her steadfast partner, helped manage the care of these animals. She also built a residence for seniors, including Mrs. Miranda, ensuring that the elderly could live with dignity and comfort. Through these endeavors, Amy redefined what it meant to be successful, proving that true business acumen lay not in ruthless ambition, but in the capacity to nurture and uplift those around you. Throughout her journey, Amy never forgot the lessons she learned from the people who had supported her in her darkest moments. Alyssa remained a loyal friend and confidant, always ready with encouragement and practical advice. Mrs. Camila and Mrs. Belinda's wisdom reminded her of the importance of self-love and inner beauty, principles that Amy carried into every aspect of her life. In time, the scars of bullying and discrimination healed, replaced by a profound sense of pride in her heritage and her accomplishments. Now at the helm of the mall, Amy stands as a beacon of resilience and compassion. No longer defined by the narrow standards of beauty and success imposed by others, she embraces her identity as a strong, independent Native American woman. With the support of her family and the community she has built, Amy faces the future unafraid. Any remnants of the old supervisors and bullies have been purged from her life, and she remains vigilant in protecting the dignity of those who, like her, have once been marginalized. Amy's story is a testament to the power of self-determination and the enduring strength of the human spirit. From the moment she left behind the suffocating expectations of her childhood, she embarked on a journey of self-discovery that led her through hardship and humiliation, but also through transformation and triumph. Today, as she oversees her family's mall and spearheads initiatives that help stray animals and the elderly, Amy's life is a vivid reminder that true freedom comes from the courage to be oneself, regardless of the opinions of others. In her new world, Amy not only controls her destiny but also uses her success as a platform to uplift those who need it most. The once timid young woman from Wyoming has blossomed into a confident businesswoman, unafraid to challenge injustice and redefine what it means to be truly beautiful. Her journey, marked by tears, trials, and ultimately triumph, continues to inspire everyone around her to stand up for their dreams and embrace the strength that lies within.